Go.
Okay, since you're about to meet some of our seals in the hospital, I thought it might be cool for you to learn what happens when a member of the public calls in a seal in distress, and we bring it in and check it in before it goes into one of our very special hospital pens. So, do you know what you need to do if you see a seal that's in trouble on the beach?
Mummy's phone.
Yes, so that's great. What you need to do is call us and we can come and see if that seal is actually in trouble. Now, if it is, one of the most important things that you can do is actually not touch that seal, because not only could it bite you, now seals do look very, very cute and cuddly, but they can bite. And the second thing is, if mum is just swimming off out of reach, she might be fishing it and leaving her pup on the shore. But if you go up and touch her, then you'll leave your smell on the pup. And if she comes back and smells you all over the pup, she'll leave it behind and won't come back. And we don't want that pup to be abandoned, do we? Now, if you call us and we decide that that pup needs to come back home with us for some medical treatment, one of the most important tools that you have is a towel. Now, that's not because we need to make the seals all warm and snug and dry. It's actually to protect us from being bitten and to keep the seals nice and calm. Now, what we actually do if we need to get our seals home is we come up behind them and we will throw the towel over their heads and sit down over them like this. Now, this isn't to sit on them or squash them, but what we'll do is it's to make sure that they can't bite us, so it keeps them nice and calm because it's nice and dark, and it's to make sure that they don't wriggle around too much. Now, what we'll do is we'll then wrap them up like this and put them into a special seal bag that there's lots of openings so they can breathe, and put them into one of our special seal transport vans and take them back to our facility. Once we've got them back to the hospital, we put them back on the floor like this, and it's time for us to give them a special medical examination like you would at the doctor's when you're feeling sick. So what we need to do is check them all over their bodies. So we first start at their heads. So we give them a bit of a peekaboo like this, and we're going to check their head first. We've got to make sure we're holding on to them all the time, so like I said, so they don't bite us. So first, I'm going to check his nose to make sure that there's no boogies or anything coming out. I'm going to check his ears, and we put some special drops into his eyes to make sure we can see that there's no scratches or anything like that. And we also check his gums and to make sure that there's nothing wrong with his tongue or anything stuck inside there. We then work all the way down his body and check his flippers to make sure he doesn't have any broken flippers or anything like that. Just in case, like maybe you've fallen off a bike and hurt your arm before, maybe he's got any broken bones or anything like that. And before we flip him around, we actually need to make sure we listen to his chest to make sure his heart and his breathing is okay. So, now I'm sure when you came here, you were thinking about the rescuing of some seals, weren't you? So I think I'm going to need an assistant today. So, oh yes, you look like an assistant to me. So, well, I'm going to listen to, I think we're going to have to give him a name. What do you think he looks like? I think he looks like a Sam to me. What do you think?
Sammy.
Sammy. All right, this is going to be Sammy the seal. So we're going to listen to Sammy the seal's chest. So first, we always put the towel back over his head. Now, so would you like to come up on this side first? So you can move Sammy over. You can put the stethoscope around your ears. Okay. So we lift the towel up on this side. And if this was a real seal, we would hear him breathe in and out, and in and out, and his heart would be going ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. Doesn't that sound nice and healthy? Yeah.
Not this one.
Not this one, okay. Well, thank you for helping with that bit. Perfect. So, then what I would do, you can sit back down, sweetie, is I would flip him around. I would check down all the rest of his body, and I would check his back flippers. Then it's time to take his temperature. Now, when you're feeling sick, how does your mum take your temperature?
Under my tongue.
Under your tongue. Well, how do you think we might take Sammy's temperature?
Like mine.
No, fine. Well, we take Sammy's temperature a little bit differently. If we put a thermometer in Sammy's mouth, he might eat it. So we have to take Sammy's temperature up his bottom. I know, it's a little bit funny, isn't it? So we put it up Sammy's bottom, and then it should come out, it should be about 37 degrees. It's okay to be a little bit higher, a little bit lower, but if it's anything different, we know there's a bit of a problem. So once we've checked Sammy all over, we flip him back around, and it's time to give him some food because he probably hasn't had any food in a while. Now, what do you think Sammy would like to eat? Do you think he eats fish and chips? Little bit close. He does like to eat fish, but right now he's probably a little baby. He's probably too small to eat lots of fish. So what we do is we give him a special fish soup mixture, which is lots of blended up fish, and a special hydrating fluid, which means he might be very, very thirsty. So it helps him get all these fluids in. But he's also too small to be able to eat for himself. So we have to put a special tube like this one down his throat and into his belly to make sure all the food gets down. So would you like to help me again? So you can come around this side. You can hold the tube up there for me. We'll put that into his tummy. And you can pour this imaginary soup down into his tummy and we'll get him nice and full. Perfect, thank you. There we go, so we've got him all checked out for anything that's nice and that could be wrong with him, and we've also got all the food into him. So it's now time for him to go into one of his pens, a pen all by himself, and we'll have to feed him like that every 4 hours until he's big enough and strong enough to be able to eat fish for himself. Once he's able to eat fish for himself, he'll be able to go out into one of our big pools with our resident seals who will be able to teach him how to compete for food, and once he's big enough, he'll be able to be released back into the wild. But now that you've seen what we do with our pretend seals, I think it'll be much more exciting for you to go see what we have with our big seals and our real seals. So I'm going to move Sammy out of the way and I'm going to let you go see our real seals, okay? Do you want to go down that way and see the real seals? Yeah. Go on. Okay.